All right, so we have Anne here as well as Kurt, and they are some of our incredible clients that we had through our YouTube ads program. Anne, could you just give me maybe a 30-second overview of some of the biggest breakthroughs that you had since joining the program with YouTube ads?
It was a huge breakthrough for us. We had gone through a previous YouTube training, and really this was the perfect fit for us because it wasn't just training, but we really wanted the mentorship. And it was having the mentorship, and I believe it was Coach Kurt here, my coworker, who found your program, and because of the mentorship. So basically, we are successful on YouTube. Right now, we're at a ROAS of 5 something or other, Kurt, and I think it's been up to 8. You know, it went down a little bit, a little dip here in August, but it's absolutely thrilling. And the bigger fun part of it is we have completely eliminated the need for a lower tier ascension funnel, and we are starting at mid-tier, straight to cold traffic on YouTube, and we are crushing it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And we were just talking about this earlier about how great that growth has been, and also simplifying the business. So instead of doing the ascension model, which some people watching this might, be familiar, you sell a low ticket and then it goes to, something maybe like a little bit more expensive, like a course, and then something mid-ticket, and then you have high ticket or a back end, just going directly into that mid-ticket or high ticket program with your YouTube ads. I know you mentioned you were talking about, 5 to 8x ROAS. Do you mind just giving a little bit of, you don't have to say the exact number, the ballpark of where your revenue has been at since obviously, implementing YouTube ads, and then maybe you could talk about what that journey looked like to get there with YouTube.
Well, and let me give this one comment first. The thing that's so nice about it is it's consistent, it's solid, it's steady.
Yes.
And so every month we were having to come up with promotions and webinars, and it got grueling, grueling month after month, year after year. And now instead of, okay, we need, 20, 30, 40, whatever it is, now it's just hums along. It's just so that was, and it was just one small tweak in the YouTube thing right out of the gate. You guys showed us how to get conversions. We had a little in our funnel. We made an adjustment in on our funnel, and bam, ever since then it's been like that.
It's been a lifestyle change because we were so used to the grind of pushing out promos. Now we have consistent sales coming in all the time. That's the big game changer, and outperforming what we did at the low tier and the promo webinars and beating the drum. It just feels so much better. It's a win for the entire team, and it's a win for the customers, taking them to where they really need to be, instead of kind of dragging them face down through, one thing after another. Now they just go right to the whole offer where they get the high level handholding and mentoring.
Exactly. And maybe we could walk through some of the individual, components of obviously what we dive into as well. And I know one of the first things we do is help you with the YouTube ad itself. And I know before this, your experience was, like you said, doing all kinds of different promos and, new webinars, different funnels. What was that experience like, creating that one YouTube ad, maybe a couple of different hooks, but one main ad that's designed to convert? How was that process, working with our copywriters, going through that?
It was an awesome experience. We brought our team in that's involved with that funnel. We have a full-time videographer, so he was there, Kurt, our operations officer, and our tech manager. And so just being a part of that experience and talking through what our avatar is, who is our, audience that we want to work with and attract into our funnel. And so went very smoothly. I worked on it. I sent my draft, and then I got the review back. So everything was very step-by-step following, the direct mentorship, but also the direct help to get us there really quickly. And as I recall, that was mid-November, and we had our ads out there by it was December 6th, if I'm not mistaken. So to me, that's pretty darn fast. And they started converting almost immediately, the ads.
Excellent. And so on the other side, and I know, Kurt, this is where you were working a lot, diving into this and working with our team, getting the ads up and running, and actually, getting those on YouTube, targeting the right people. How would you describe the experience both on the side of obviously the trainings that we have and learning, but then also the hands-on help. I remember, diving in and helping you optimize, going into it. I know there's a couple breakthroughs in the funnel that you hit along the way as well, but maybe you could describe that process of, the ad side of it as well.
Yeah, very solid. I never felt confused. Now, I had done pay-per-click way back in the day, but I hadn't dove in at this level for many, many, many years. And so a little bit of background helped there, but nevertheless, I never felt confused. It's very step by step, very clear. I would do the homework. I would do the research. You had the templates. I'd bring my work to the calls that we're mentoring. And obviously your system for what you do is set up very similar to our system, what we do. And that is we bring people in, do homework, and then check up on them. And so, and even in between that, when there was more emergency kind of things, you guys were very responsive to even work outside of the system to help me a couple of times when I needed it. I put up the red flag, Phil, help, and he'd jump in there, calm as always. But anyway, it was good hands-on mentoring, good feedback loop. It was nice being in calls with other people so that we could see,
Yes.
oh, that's what he's doing, that's what they're doing, and okay, it gives us more of a bigger frame of reference as far as where are we at on the journey, where can we get to, and how are other people overcoming the challenges they're overcoming. So it was a really great experience.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate that. And it's been so awesome watching the journey that you've gone through. And maybe you could talk a little bit about, I know we talked about at the beginning, we were kind of doing the overview, but talk a little bit about, the ROAS that you're seeing now on YouTube, how that kind of compares to what you had before when you were kind of doing all the different promos. I know, maybe we'll get to Facebook versus YouTube in a second, but just kind of where things have gone from those days, when you were running ads for an ascension funnel, that type of thing, versus now for the way we've set it up with YouTube ads. What was that increase? And also, if you don't mind, if you want to share the revenue increase, you of course don't have to, but kind of what that looks like from that point to where you are now.
I'll jump in first. It goes again back to the consistency, Aleric.
Yeah.
We were doing so many promos, this, and then we do that, then we launch this, and we got really good at it, but you never really knew how it was going to go. We did some promos that went spectacularly, like, wow, home run and grand slam, Then we do others. Oh yeah, this one, we're going to knock it out of the park. Here we come. And it just total flops. And so that emotional roller coaster, all that energy and not being really certain, of what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. It's such a relief to know, the consistency of YouTube. And so overall, the consistent ROAS has definitely, and income has definitely increased. It's hard to compare because we're not comparing apples to apples. Some of our promotions went spectacularly and we had 10 ROAS. Others, we lost tens of thousands of dollars. So, it really would depend. And so that's been the lifestyle change, as Ann mentioned earlier. That's really been great. That's my perspective.
Well, in terms of list building, for us, it's been primarily through Facebook. The problem with Facebook is ads disapproved.
Yeah.
It has been just absolutely filled with angst. We are in the quote unquote business opportunity space. We teach e-commerce. And so that was the problem with Facebook, is we just could never get it steady. Mm-hmm. That was the problem. So we did build our list through Facebook, but it was you couldn't get an ad going and expect it to keep going. That was rare. And that spanned about 4 years' time. This is so different with YouTube. One, it's not nearly as hard to get approved. Yeah. Facebook is really, really, really strict. And you feel like you're on a bucking bronco. It hasn't felt that way with YouTube. Plus, this is the first time we've had a successful YouTube ad campaign. Mm-hmm. We did Google AdWords way, way, way back in the day. But in terms of YouTube, this is the first time. We have tried several other people. Nothing worked. You're the first to make it work. And literally everything you taught worked. In addition to that, so I did move Kurt into a different department. I said, I need you more over here. And we outsourced our YouTube work at this time. They said, Aleric is the guy we send all our people to. We only hire people who've gone through Aleric's. And so how about that? So we're like, oh, good. Okay. Because that's where we earned our stripes. And they said, that's who we use, as the point of reference, people who know your training. So to say that, and to top it off, they haven't been able to outperform thus far. It's only been 2 months now, Kurt, maybe, what Kurt has accomplished. And in fact, one was a testimony. He was kind of poo-pooing in, and I said, this thing is now meeting all KPI. This becomes a core campaign. And so that was just kind of this nice, you've done awesome, Kurt, using Aleric's mentoring and training. So it's really been just a massive win. So where we're at in our business right now is we're in a position, we have far more traffic than we can handle. So I'd like to say, oh, we're now at this amount, but we're actually in the stabilization phase where, and 2 teams have said, caution, caution. We know you can get 3 times more traffic in, but don't do it yet. So we're stabilizing by bringing in our sales team, solidifying that. But Kurt, we've got 5x or just a huge amount of traffic that's available to us right now that we could kick on the ad spend, but we've got to build our infrastructure. So I can see us going to 500 is my goal per month. I would say in the next, it's all based on us doing a good job scaling our sales team. So we have no lack for YouTube traffic, none. ROAS, fantastic. So it's now more internal to get prepared for the really big growth.
Yeah, if I could clone my sales team once, we'd be twice, if I could just keep cloning my sales team overnight, that's the slowdown for us right now. Right. But it's okay. We could go to 1 million a month right now as far as YouTube traffic, but we won't do that because we don't have the salespeople trained up yet that can handle it. So
yeah,
exactly. But the great part about that too is you have the consistency and you have that board that's in the background. Maybe you could describe how that feels, because you talked about it a couple of times, is the consistency of having your YouTube ads bringing in these leads so you can spend the time on building up the sales team so that you can focus on dialing in your systems. How does that feel?
It's really just a completely different feel of the business. Instead of me waking up and scratching my head, what kind of promo are we going to do? And when I say a promo, I'm referring to, we have a list and you just keep running promos through that list. That's what I'm talking about. It's called the grind. So instead it's, how do we scale that department? Oh, I call it oxygen. We have oxygen in the tank to actually step back and now work on the business. That's what it's allowed us. It's fantastic. That's how it feels.
And it's predictable. I'm going to be bringing on a new salesperson or 2 this month. I know exactly how much I have to increase ad spend from the flow. I mean, it's so much far more easily regulated, if you will, governed, if you will, with scale than anything we've experienced before.
Absolutely. And one of the last questions, and maybe, Ann, you can specifically talk about this, because I know one of the things we were talking about before is really going into becoming, a CEO, right? Mm-hmm. And taking that step. And that's something that, I've kind of shared is something that I've had as part of my journey and that you have as well. How would you say YouTube ads has helped play into that when it comes to consistency? And just to kind of expand one step further beyond what we were just talking about.
It's been everything thus far. I mean, quite honestly, it's because we actually don't have Facebook ads running right now. Or I'm going to get that as another traffic source, and I want to bring in another one, and I want to become bulletproof. But I can say that the YouTube ads have set the foundation for consistent mid-tier sales. We're at a 5K, probably going to test for a higher price point because we produce a lot of results, a lot of value, but it's set the stage. We're now like, oh, we can, it's like a different world, to be really honest. Very refreshing, but it is YouTube. I honestly didn't know it. It felt like such a foreign world to us because we've never had, I've been in business almost 15 years online, but we've not had YouTube ads work consistently in all these different teams. It just didn't work out. Different trainings, but this was the perfect combination for us. Your team mentoring, training. It was the perfect combination. So it's like, it's opened up everything for us.
That's incredible.
Literally.
Incredible. And I'm so glad to see that and that growth that you're going to be able to have from now. I'm so excited for that next goal that you're going to hit and the next milestones. So one of the questions I asked right as we wrap up here is, if there's somebody watching this right now who's on the fence, maybe even after everything that we said, they're still not sure, whether it's, whether or not to book a call, or maybe they already had a call and now they're deciding, is this something that they're going to do? What would you tell that person who's watching right now and they're on the fence about YouTube ads for their business? What would you tell them?
Well, always my blueprint has been to follow success. Now, I was actually referred to you by someone who had referred his friends here. He said they did spectacularly well. He said, and I trust this guy, and he said, I will not refer you to someone that I know doesn't produce results. I won't do that to you, and I respect you too much. And that is my relationship with this gentleman. And so it was that. I'm trusting his referral, and he had referred someone else to you as well. And so I've always looked at who's having success. So there he said his friends, and I trusted him. So that's what I trusted on. The other part is proven systems. And so I'm really, really big on proven systems. And that's what you have is a proven system, and it's providing the parts that they may be weak on, like getting the copywriting help with the setting up the ad can be an overwhelming part. But to say it is a proven system, and now looking for that blueprint to success is Kurt shared your video with someone. It was an interview, and I said, we're going to follow Aleric. And so I like having someone who has created the wave to ride on. And so I'm telling people, this is a wave you can ride on. I trusted someone, and it served me very, very well. And I'm sure it will, in like kind, help someone else do the same.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And if there's anything else that you want to add now, because I want to make sure we were able to cover everything. I think that covered a lot. Any last words that you'll say before we wrap this up, either Ann or Kurt, if you want to add something as well, because this has been incredible. It's been so amazing to see the growth that you've had and the growth I know you'll continue to have. I know we were right before this call strategizing some of the next steps and the things that can be incorporated in. And I'm just so excited to see that. Anything else that you want to add, either you, Ann, or Kurt, as we wrap up the interview here?
Well, I don't know if you remember, Alec, but early on I said, we will be one of your success stories.
Oh.
I remember.
Yeah. Well, Kurt did tell me, he said, Ann, I know I can do this. I know I can do this. So you go for it, Kurt.
Yeah, yeah. And so really, entrepreneurs that succeed are competitive and they're aggressive. It's just part of our nature. And so what's really frustrating for me personally is having to do something over and over again. And so if you're a successful, aggressive, positive thinking entrepreneur, you're not going to have to do this over. You're going to build a foundation that then you can launch from. Yeah. We spent years building a foundation, kind of goes down like the sand, then building something else. No, you're aggressive. Take whatever resources you have in terms of time, focus, and funding right now, put it here, and it will pay huge dividends long term.
Absolutely. And my other thought is that considering the times, COVID, I was like, oh man, I landed in the lucky bucket. And most everybody I know, my friends in the online space, are having unprecedented growth. So all in context, there's this massive shift. The entire world has been disrupted. And where is it going? Online. So it's a good time to be online. It's a wide open, ever growing space. So it is very exciting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so exciting to see where you're going to be able to go from here as well. Thank you so much, Ann and Kurt. This has been incredible. And thank you for hopping on. And those of you watching, thank you for watching this interview. And feel free to take a look at some of our other testimonials on adoutreach.com/tank, where we have a wide variety of testimonials and case studies. Thanks again.